Warning, peak anime moments incoming.
Yo, what is up everybody? I know I said I was not going to be making another video on To Be Hero X until the season is finished, but bro, I have to. Episode 4 was crazy. Anyone who has been keeping up with To Be Hero X would know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm here today to share my thoughts on exactly what the hell just happened. Now, to anyone who hasn't been watching To Be Hero X and are only tuning in to see if it is worth watching, let me tell you right now, it 100% is. Since I'm not going to be going into context on what happened the previous episodes and just what happened this episode, I suggest you catch up before watching this video. Now, we start off this video in the fallout of the previous episode. Obviously, it being revealed that God Eye has captured Moon. Here, we not only see Lyn Lling, aka Nice, trying to actually go ahead and save Moon, but also how the fans can control a hero, how the trust in that hero can manipulate their very actions. The more Lyn Lling tries to go and save Moon, the more the fans are out here being like, don't do it, Nice, don't fall for his tricks. And that trust that Nice knows not to fall for it causes him to physically be unable to attempt it, which is a crazy inverse of how the power system has been going so far. Not only do we see the physical powers given to these heroes, but the restrictions as well. We did see a quasi restriction previously with Moon and her teleportation ability, always leading her back to Nice, but this is more of a literal restraint and not just a caveat to their powers. And that is very interesting, meaning the smallest detail could change a hero's entire outcome based on the public's perception of them. Now, as the intro goes by and we see Nice pass out from the physical stress being placed on him trying to go against his trust, we see the Hero Association dispatch one of their own heroes, Blester. Now, Blester's abilities are pretty simple. He has enhanced strength. He used to be a pro boxer and now he is a fisticuffs-esque hero with gauntlets similar to what you would expect from characters like Vi in Arcane. And that is very interesting in itself, especially when we go deeper into his abilities. The reason why the Hero Association is actually using him and why Lyn Lling, aka Nice's corporation, are actually in favor of him being chosen is not only does his fist penetrate anything it punches due to this entire boxer persona, one of his abilities is actually anyone he hits, he gets to erase their memories. Now this actually goes back on his personal past. Before becoming a hero, he used to be an amateur boxer who was trying to go pro and failed to do so because he was stuffing his gloves with metal plates to give him a harder hit. But this is information that has all but been forgotten or erased, hence carrying over into his abilities, showing not only that the trust value in a person, but that person's own opinions, memories, and afflictions carry over into them as well. Which, once again, as I said, just carries over into how diverse and intertwined this power system is with people. And that makes it a very interesting concept in itself. But one might think, okay, so is he gonna erase God Eye's memories of Nice being Lyn Lling? That was the intention. The intention was also for him to possibly get a hold of Moon and erase her memories, since outside of the main team, those two are the only individuals who knows Lyn Ling's true identity. But it doesn't go exactly how we expected, as God Eye exposes Blester's criminal past, or not so savory past I'd rather say, to the wider world. He hacks into broadcasting systems, displaying not only this story, but visuals of the story of how Blester used to cheat. And thus his trust value starts plummeting, giving God Eye an upper hand. Now, exactly what God Eye's ability is, we're not quite sure yet, but from what we've seen, it seems to be technopathy or techno manipulation. And exactly how that works is yet to be stated directly, but I do have faith for this in the future. Now, this episode has raised a lot of questions. How does he still have a trust value instead of something more like a fear value, something you'd expect from a villain? It's easy, because he's out here trying to expose the corruption of hero society to the world. There are people who genuinely trust in and follow him, seeing what he is doing as a heroic act. And that is how he is maintaining his trust value, or at least that's what I think is going on here. But as one might think, you can't always count Lyn Lling out, as he not only defies the will of the trust, but also shatters the nice persona, being able to break free of it, but in the process losing his trust value. As one would expect from our heroic main character, he goes after Moon, even though it would most likely be a trick and that this isn't really Moon. He really wasn't willing to take that chance. His love for her goes beyond the persona of nice. He would willingly sacrifice his life as a hero if it meant saving her. Now, at this part in the episode, the anime cliche of the main character getting beat up, being powerless for a time, is very prominent. But it has its merit. God Eye not only displays Lyn Ling's arrival, but Lyn Lling also has to practically outs himself as a fraud, reveal the fact that the real nice has been dead all along, and that obviously doesn't sit well with many people. Doubt immediately emerging, watching Lyn Lling not only admit his own faults, but watching him get beaten down by God Eye, since he wasn't just here to reveal the truth. He was here to administer punishment or consequences to this fraudulent behavior, if you will. And that leads us to Lyn Lling showing his true self, not only through the speeches he gives, but also the power he is exerting. With no trust value whatsoever, he is consistently overcoming the drones keeping him back, and is actually fighting back against God Eye, even giving that speech we saw in episode 1, this time more in a me to you fashion than an advertisement. I was a nobody. Nobody knew who I was. I had no power, I had no trust, and then I became nice. And it was great being nice. But what is it worth being this hero persona if I can't save the people I need to save? He gets his first trust value back. His strength increases. He starts fighting back. And as the fight continues, more and more people truly start believing in Lyn Lling himself and not in Nice, as his trust value skyrockets up to what Nice's was before this situation, back up to the top 10. This time as himself. And as he finally lands this devastating blow, we see him stand up and say exactly what he meant to say. With enough hard work, you can be a hero too. Practically bringing us back to that ad from the first episode of To Be Hero X. Now, this ad itself did play earlier in the episode. People made fun of it for a bit, but when it comes down to it, the true meaning of what that ad actually was just hit home here, as they got to see it in action, the meaning behind Lyn Ling's original words, and why he thought the way he did, why he felt the way he did. And this might just restructure how people look at him. If his abilities are the same than they were previously, or with a new trust value and new perception coming new ones, is yet to be seen. But not only is Lyn Lling seen as a hero again, he's openly welcomed under, instead of a persona, being himself. Now here's where the episode takes a large twist. As we skip over the aftermath of this fight and the reveal of Lyn Ling's identity, which obviously was not taken badly at all. In fact, people had great reception of it, having less anger towards him and more anger towards the corporation that represents Nice. We see Lyn Lling return to the tower and take Moon's teleportation gun. We see him arrive on an abandoned island where we had seen her trying to escape. She had left the gun behind, trying to go somewhere where she's out of sight, out of attention, somewhere she could be herself. And that hasn't gone too well with her in the past few months that she's been gone, since quite the time has passed. We see that she's genuinely been struggling and desperately been trying to find a way out. Here we see Lyn Lling walk through the portal. A moment of connection between the two. Obviously, we see Lyn Lling not being nice, but somewhat a new version of himself. We get to see that realization from Moon as the two of them look at each other, share a few comments, laugh, and then boom. Right there. That right there caught me off guard. I was at the edge of my seat every second, rooting for these two characters. But what happens? She gets shot. Now, this isn't anything new for To Be Hero X. Now, at the end of episode 1 and the start of episode 2, we saw Moon die in a different way. If this was a precognition, a rewound timeline, or even some sort of nightmare that Lyn Lling was having as feedback to the stressful situations he's been through, we know not yet. Also, the emergence of a mysterious new antagonist. I say antagonist because saying villain in this context might not be correct. This could be some sort of fixer or rogue hero, but we don't quite know yet. But what we do know is there is a strong chance that Moon is in fact not dead, and that's personally what I'm hoping for. Now, usually when I see things like this in anime, I get really nitpicky or really uptight about characters returning from death, but the way they've been executing things like this in 2B Hero X, where it's these sorts of visions or dreams, has been a really big thinker. Why are these things happening? How are they ending up this way? And the inevitable reveal we will get later in the series on why these things are happening will probably blow my mind. Now, every second of this episode, I was on the edge of my seat, screaming off the top of my lungs. Having watched this with a close friend of mine, we both were really excited. And to say my entire momentum of excitement changed the moment that bullet flew would be an understatement. A complete 360.
Ooh. Hey, hold up. That boy, hey, you right.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, you right. You right. Baby, you right. You wrong. You real fucking wrong.
And this is exactly how I felt. It was a complete out of nowhere, mind-blowing punch to the midsection. I really was not expecting this to happen, even though I probably should have. But nevertheless, this episode hit me on an emotional scale that I am not able to describe. This singular episode of anime is one of the best episodes of anime I have personally seen since 2009. Now, when I say 2009, that's when I personally watched the Naruto vs. Pain fight. And I think, to me personally, this hit on a similar scale. I'm not saying there haven't been other anime as good, but none that have resonated with me as much as this on that scale. Seeing not only hope lost, but new hope gained, people fighting against unimaginable odds, and coming out on top due to the belief and trust other people place in them. That is how a normal person becomes a hero. And that's exactly where I'd like to leave this video off. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to smash like, subscribe, and comment down below. Last week, on Sunday, I posted a video on what if Belle Carnell joined a different What if Belle Crunell joined a different familia? If you're interested in content like that, make sure to go check that out. Also, this upcoming Saturday, we have a very interesting video involving the solo leveling series popping up. If there are any other videos you'd like me to make or any other anime you'd like me to cover, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. Now, without further ado, this has been your boy Six, and this has been the Fiction Weavers. Until next time, nerds.